Hi.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. Guess where I am?
You're definitely in a car, without a doubt.
Yes. Guess what car?
That's a magazine title that sounds really similar to an existing magazine title.
But they never name any of the models they're testing. You have to work it out. When they say it's really good, you've got to figure out what's really good so you can buy one.
Welcome to a new issue of Yes What Model Car? Or Yes What Car?
Guess what car?
Well, you want to launch?
Yes, on a small UK-based single-day launch. No airs and graces. Just get in the car, have a good drive in it. And the car, let me give you a clue, it's the new Land Rover Defender.
Oh. So is it the new Land Rover Defender then? The very important...
Yeah, well guessed.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, so you're... Well, come on, you must be like a dog rolling around in foxplop.
Oh, and even more smelly, weirdly, for some reason. Yeah, well, it's been quite a day. Because, went up to the Midlands this morning and we got to take and Defender each. A bit of cross-country, a couple of hours to the east.
Oh my!
And we got to do some off-roading.
Hang on, Rich. Hang on. We're getting some weird interference. It just sounds like somebody's trying to change your voice to hide your identity.
I'm on Witness Protection Program. That's the other bit I was going to tell you.
Oh, are you doing the famous Land Rover Witness Protection off-road program?
Yeah, because obviously driving around in a new Defender doesn't get any attention whatsoever.
No one will notice.
At this stage in that man's life.
It's not been very eagerly anticipated, has it? So.
No, not at all. Certainly not by me.
No. No.
So, anyway, so I've done a bit of driving, a bit of off-roading. I'm just on the motorway. Although, weirdly, the sat-nav, if you have the voice on, it says, prepare to join the motorway, like an 80s radio DJ.
Moda?
Motorway. Yeah, motorway. It goes, join the motorway. And you're like, what?
That's...
Okay, here's the turner. It's weird, because it's a very English woman.
That's really... So, what? It's...
Turn right at the roundabout. Now join the motorway.
Prepare to listen to Peter Gabriel and Kate Bush with Don't Give Up. What? I don't understand.
Prepare to enjoy the sweet sounds of Kate Bush.
How bizarre. I wasn't expecting you to say that.
Yeah, well, I wasn't expecting her to say it, Mrs. Satnav lady, but yeah, motorway.
Motorway.
It's odd. I wish I could play it to you, but I don't think I can't do that and speak to you anyway. But so I'm on the motorway at the moment, heading back to the Midlands. But, anyway, blah, 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 cut to the chase. It's really, really good. So anyway, that's all I got to say. Bye. It's so good. It is, I would say, a very nicely sorted machine. It feels very sort of... Anyone's ever driven a Discovery 4, it feels like that. You know how it sort of felt planted on the road? It feels like that.
Ish.
It sits very square on the road.
Is it like... Should it just be badged the Discovery 6, though?
Or Discovery Classic Director's Cut for people who like the old Discovery and aren't sure about the new one. It's okay. Like when they changed the flavour of Coke and then they brought that Coke Classic just to stop people freaking out.
Oh yeah. Nothing says addict like that, does it?
I tell you what, as well. On a practical note, it's because the Discovery 4 is a super practical car. It's got loads of room in the back, and the Discovery 5, the back seats, if you're an adult, you sit in them, they're a bit low to the floor. It's quite odd.
Yes.
They're not. They're nice. They're comfortable. If I've done the old classic car journalist, set the front seat for yourself and then try and sit behind your My knees don't touch the back of the front seat, that's quite a lot of leg room.
That is a lot. So am I right in thinking you can order the new Def? I'm going to call it the Defendery, because it could be half Defender, half newer Discovery. That's what they should have called it, the Defendery. It's Defender-ish, but it's also Discovery-ish.
It's quite Defendery, isn't it? Isn't it Defendery?
Yeah, there you go. And then that leaves room if they wanted to just bring out a real bare bones, farmery one, which they'd call the Farmery, not the Defendery. And then there you go. We've just pretty much rejigged Land Rover's core lineup in 10 seconds.
Just problem solving as we go. It's inspiring.
It's effortless.
Effortless. I know. So I just that thing that really winds me up when people go, well, it's not a proper Defender because you can't hose out the interiors if anyone would do that. But I actually think you probably could, if you just wanted to hose out the floor. I mean, I wouldn't fully recommend it, but
you'd have to direct, yeah.
It's rubber mats over plastic. There's no carpet.
Oh, so it's like a transit van type of floor. I really like that kind of rubberized matting.
Yeah. So no carpet at all. I don't even know if you can order carpet.
I'm down with that.
And so it feels very practical in that respect. Yeah, the boots, there's no boot carpet, which if you're a dog owner like I am, the boot carpet is always made from like a material that's specifically designed for the laboratory to just pick up dog hair. It's no good.
No.
But this is just rubber and plastic.
Like boot carpet is like a butterfly. From the moment it hatches, basically the clock starts ticking, and you're going to die really soon. Doesn't matter how impressive you are. Doesn't matter how impressive you are. Oh, you're going to perish very soon. So make the most of it, because someone's going to drop a bottle of milk. Some child's going to vom. Someone's going to gouge it with DIY. A dog's going to do whatever a dog does on it. Yeah, I'm really glad. I'm actually I'm driving it in a matter of days, and I think we've said this before, that it's been the elusive launch for me since the world changed in 2020, and I am very much looking forward to it. On the other hand, I feel like I'm in danger of having oversaturation because it's been a very long, drawn out launch process, because of, not through their Land Rover's fault, because of the world. I'm worried that I'm going to be over it before I've even driven it. But
I think when you drive it, then it might renew your interest, just because it's one of those cars that's sort of deceptively good, because it's just very easy going and it's comfortable and there's lots of space. It's going, well, this would be a decent family wagon if you needed such a thing. I mean, it's quite relaxing somehow, but you can hustle it. I mean, I chucked it down some country roads, and it rolls a little bit, but it's got good steering. It goes where you put it, and that's handy.
Well, historically, you drive your Defender like a complete penis, because I've been in it several times. Which always surprises me. I thought it's always going to be a bit easy listening, but it's not at all. It's like you're trying to do the green hell, but like a different kind of green hell.
Well, because as anyone who's driven a Defender of the old style knows, it's about conserving momentum. So I just sort of take that to its, logical conclusion and just try to never brake. But
I'd love to see you piloting a container ship.
They've given me a super tanker license, and frankly, I ain't braking for the Cape of Good Hope. It's just too much aggro.
No. What's the point? Just chip a couple of corners off every harbour that you swing it into.
I mean, I suppose if you could sort of drift it sideways a bit to scrub off speed, you'd be okay. But yeah.
What do you reckon? Sorry, carry on.
Well, I was going to say this is not super tankery for a big. It's a big old thing, and it's not light.
No.
It is strangely. It's precise without being too sharp, so it's sort of very relaxed. I'm not driving a lot. I'm not driving like an absolute anus. If I'm driving it one-handed a lot, just because it's a very sort of get into the just roll along, don't have to put too much effort in. It's easy. It's got enough power. It's not massively fast, but this is the 240 horsepower 4-cylinder diesel.
Yeah.
It's a little bit noisy when you really step on it. If you wanted to join a motorway or get out of a junction in a hurry, it gets a bit noisy then. Otherwise, it's really quiet.
Could you demonstrate for me the engine sound? I'll see if we can pick it up on your telephone.
Well, so I'm doing 70 miles an hour. I'm doing 72 miles an hour now on the motorway. It's very quiet. I think you can't really hear. I can't accelerate hard until I slow down, and I've got to make sure there's no cars around me. Right, I'm slowing down. Now, did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that.
Oh, well that...
It was total silence.
It dropped a gear and redlined it. So
Oh, really?
It was, yeah, but it's fine. And there's not, weirdly, considering the screen is... It's funny because the screen looks more angled from the outside than the inside. You know, if you ever driven one of the new, a modern era Mini, they have an unusually upright screen. It feels from the inside like the screen is unusually upright. So there's not a lot of wind noise. It's
That's like the Jimny windscreen looks like that. It from a distance it could be mistaken as a flat screen. It's just got a very shallow curvature on it and very upright A-pillars to give it that classic look, I suppose.
Yeah,
but
I think it's one of those ones where they probably spent quite a long time in the design of the Jimny and of this, trying to get the right compromise between a sort of aerodynamic angle and an angle that gives you that classic look that they're going for. But, I find the look of this car. I was like you with saying a bit played out with this. I think I'd seen so many photos of this car and frankly spent so long titting around on the configurator trying different options that I got a bit too used to it. I was a bit bored of the way it looked. But seeing it in real life,
you're into it.
It's a handsome thing.
I mean, it's weird that I've seen several people who have bought them driving around locally, and yet I haven't been in one yet. It's quite unusual that I don't get to drive a car before a customer would. I don't mean that in a wanky way, but it just tends to be that way. But so I've been looking at them on the street in the wild, and I do think they look really good in the wild. I do.
Couldn't you step in front of one as it goes by and go, "Stop! I'm a motoring journalist. I demand a go in this newly released car."
Is it like a pretentious citizen's arrest?
Yes. It's like a citizen's arrest, but even more self-important.
It's like, you mustn't proceed without letting me go. Don't worry, I've got insurance, I'll show you. But I'm going to get in and I'm going to drive it. We're going to go on a 4-mile detour.
Yeah, while I assess the ride and handling, which is good. Ride's quite nice, by the way. It just is a little bit on bumpy roads, because I think you get that feeling, which you also get in like Discoveries and Range Rovers, that the wheels are quite big and heavy, and the suspension parts are all quite big and heavy, and so it's sort of it's struggling to contain that a little bit. But in general, it's quite a relaxing ride. I think it's smooth.
So this is air suspension, isn't it? Because the commercial ones come on the springs.
Well, the 90 you will be able to have on coil springs, but I think all the 110s, which is what I'm driving, will have air on them, even the commercial, I think.
Oh, okay.
Which was impressive off-road, because that air springs. Now, I know the really hardcore off-roaders don't like air suspension, because if you're in the outback and it breaks, it's harder to repair. But if you're a normal person, you're just doing a bit of light, going down a rutted track.
Yeah.
The amount by which it could jack itself up, and then it can detect if it's bottoming out, and it's got an extra 35 millimeters in its pocket, I think, to do us a little and just jack even more to try and make sure it doesn't bottom out on anything. And it just does that automatically. So it wasn't super challenging off-roading, but it was kind of a little bit muddy under the trees, and there was some quite uppy downy stuff, and it just does it.
Bit of axle articulation.
Yeah, you can pull up all those graphics and tell you what things are doing, and what locking and unlocking its rear diff and its centre diff just to manage the traction as best it can. It's just doing it without having to think about it. And every so often you just get this sense that it, the ABS pump judders or something, and you get this sense that it's actually working quite hard to make you look like you're not a ham-fisted twat.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking for, because I know it's got extra cameras, hasn't it, for off-roading to help you, and kind of like a terrain monitoring system.
There's one you can do, which you can do on road as well, where I'm not quite sure how it manages this, but using the exterior cameras and then stitches together an image and puts in the middle of it a graphic, a 3D graphic of the car, and you're looking at effectively a CGI model of your own car from the rear three-quarter sort of high angle driving along. And when you brake, the brake lights on the CGI car come on.
Oh my gosh.
When you indicate, its indicators come on. It's like, I mean...
It's a computer game.
I kind of go, that's a neat touch. They didn't have to do that, but they've had a bit of fun with it. And that's sort of, there's a few bits and pieces around the interior like that. We sort of go, okay, they put a little bit of work into this. It's got quite nice seats as well, because they've got sort of leathery middle bit, but this one's got sort of almost tweedy around the outside, green tweed. It's nice.
I'd like that. I wouldn't want leather in it. I'd want some sort of interesting weave, I think.
Yeah.
So you can buy this as a 5, 6 or 7 seat, right?
Yeah. You could have the middle seat in the front if you want.
Yes, I would.
But you can't have that if you have the seats in the boot, 2 extra seats to make a 7-seater. So it can't be an 8-seater because the middle seat in the front is slightly set back from the other two, and the middle row moves forward to give leg room to the people sitting in the boot.
Yeah.
And that would mean there'd be almost no leg room for the middle back passenger, so they don't allow the middle seat option with the seats in the boot.
So you just have to wait for a couple to be smashed up in salvage, get the middle seat out, and then convert yours to an... It's going to happen. You know it.
Yeah, if you really wanted an 8-seater. There's no, as far as I can gather, there's no legal reason why you couldn't have an 8-seater one if you could fit your own seat.
Well, because it can handle the extra weight. I'm absolutely sure of that. It can still tow 3.5, can't it? Because that was one of the... Yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, I guess that's probably why the 110s all have air springs, because it just means that their payload is solid and they can handle however many people you can cram into it and all that fun. So, it's I don't know. I mean, I also I guess the air springs, they probably haven't checked this, but they often they mean that you can drop it a bit at motorway speeds.
Yeah.
For your air run.
Yeah.
Make it a tiny bit more efficient.
That's right. Yeah.
Which I'm just checking. Actually.
DBX does that.
I've had my heavy boots on. It's been quite some speedy, aggressive road driving, and it's doing 35 miles per gallon, so that's all right.
What even with you driving it like a See You Next Tuesday?
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. That is impressive, actually.
It's a big old thing, but I think it's not bad that. And there's a FEV coming later in the year.
Yeah, that's the one that's going to turn me on.
Yeah.
In the real world, because I really wanted it to launch with a FEV option.
I think it should have been out by now, but everything's been locked back, so the 90 hasn't arrived yet because of COVID. The factory had to close for 3 months.
Yeah.
And so they're going to sort of bring out, they'll start delivering the 90 and I think the FEV and the commercial all around the same time.
Sweet.
Later this year, or it's early next year. So, I don't know. I kind of, my old Defender's a 90, but I can only look at this car through the prism of thinking that would be a really nice family car for us, because
you're going to buy one, aren't you? You're twinging.
I can. The problem is that I do feel, having gone to an electric car, I feel like it might be a bit of a step backwards.
I think
just a diesel, but
Yeah.
That said, I'm seeing we're off on holiday to Norfolk, and I'm seeing a lot more UK holidays in our future. What with the spectre of COVID lurking around.
Yeah.
And I'm already having to borrow a Discovery to go away in because we couldn't fit the dog, 2 kids, bikes, self-catering malarkey, and all that in the iPace very easily without a roof box or a thing. No one ever complains.
Listen to you.
In their car, do they? I know.
Bloody
I've never
hell.
understood why people have dual roof boxes, and now I understand this because when you have children and a dog and all the things that children and dogs need, you quickly run out of room, don't you?
Yeah, you do, but you only need that room for like 4 days a year. So it's like people going, I have to have a Discovery because we go skiing every January. It's like, what? So on the basis of 4, 5, 7 days a year, you're totally changing your car option? I just find that weird. That's weird.
Yeah. Well, you see, the other thing with this is I just like it.
I know you do. I was going to say before I ask the question about the quality of the finish of it, are you going to have a one recall love it sticker put across the back window? or
it feels well made, but there's feeling well made and there's actually being well made and having an electrical system that works, which is always a slight worry, although we touch wood, there isn't any here, but if I could, we've had no trouble with our iPace. I've had no trouble with my Defender, but this thing's got control boxes. It's got like sort of 42 computers or something, and you go, what are they all doing?
42?
What? There's loads, honestly, because they're very proud of the fact it can do over-the-air updates. And I just go, what are all those, I haven't had a chance to ask someone who would know what they're all doing.
Bloody hell. Are they? They're sending all of your conversations to China. And they get like a referral fee. The more. There's not that many.
No money in cars, is there?
Am I right in
There's a lot of
thinking?
money,
Am I right in thinking there's not actually that many piston cars which do over-the-air updates? I thought it was mostly EVs, where obviously Tesla.
Yeah, it is. I think this is one of the first internal combustion cars to do.
Yeah,
do over-the-air.
I don't know. I don't know any others that I can think of. I'm sure there will be, but I can't think of any.
Now, here's a funny thing. I'm on the M5, going the other way. I've just seen a camouflaged prototype of the facelifted Discovery.
Oh.
It got all camo wrap around the front and back bumpers. And I'm thinking that the Discovery is a bit of a dead car walking now that this is here.
Yeah.
I just don't get who'd buy a Discovery over one of these, because I think this is nicer looking, it's newer.
Yeah.
I was going to say that the infotainment system, which, always, Jaguar Land Rover cars always get flagged off the infotainment because it's a bit laggy and a bit dated.
A bit last gen, yeah.
Our iPace is a bit sluggish at times. Sometimes it doesn't fire up for ages, and other times it does instantly. It's just inconsistent. This new system, the new corporate system, the first car to use it is this. It's really good. It's not, well, it's quite good, and it's almost as good as the one you get. I've just been driving a Merc with their latest system, and I would say this is better because it's cleaner and less cluttered and less confusing.
Wow.
The graphics are nice. It's really slick. Genuinely, I'm not making excuses for it. The one in our iPace is shit, but this is actually really good, world-class good. The only problem I have with it is they call it Pivy Pro. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
I can't hear the word Pivy without thinking of the word divvy, as in the 1980s playground insult. And sometimes I still think of Strawberry Nivy, the lollipop, also from the 80s. So I don't get it. I don't know why they've called it that. Strawberry Pivy flavoured entertainment system.
Pivy?
Pivy, P-I-V-I. Yeah, weird.
No, that is a bit weird. Yeah, that is a bit weird. Well, I'm very much looking for in terms of the because in my head I'm like, the one I would go for would be the Fev 96 seater, but the one thing that I think I've decided I don't like visually is probably the backlights. They don't seem quite right to me, and because they're tunnelled in, I feel like they're an unnecessary dust trap.
Yes, they are, because we drove down a very dusty track across the field and then stopped, and I looked at the car, and they were covered in a film.
And that seems weird, given that it's a car that's built to do mud/dirt/desert/bush type of driving.
I know what you mean about the backlights, because they're probably my least favourite parts of it. Bit of trivia for you. You know, it's got the main lights, and it's got those weird small auxiliary lights sort of outboard on them.
Yeah.
And that's when you brake, all four come on each side. Indicators are only in the little ones. The reason the little ones are there is because they designed it with those big ones, but they're inset. And then they realised that because of the spare wheel on the tailgate, it didn't meet the rules for lights being visible from the rear three-quarter angle.
Oh,
you
no.
have to see both sets of backlights. So those little outlying ones are basically just a solution to a legal problem. They wouldn't have been there otherwise. So it is a bit of a...
That is a real shame. Yeah, that's cluttered it a little.
Yeah,
but we're being petty. We're being petty. I mean...
Oh, yeah. I still like it. The other thing is, I came up behind one of the other cars on the road. I caught up with one of the other people on this event, and as I came around the corner, I saw the other Defender in the distance. My first thought, weirdly, was, do you remember that 7-seat Suzuki Vitara, the XL7?
Yes.
I thought it was one of those at first, which is odd, because it doesn't really look like it, but there's something about the back end. I just went, oh, is that a bit? Oh, no, it's another Defender. So,
That's a car which no one will remember.
No, it sank without trace, didn't it? But whereas, here's another, since I'm in boring trivia mode,
Oh, bloody hell, here we go.
I think they're saying that like 1 in 3 sales so far in the UK, people have put loads of accessories on.
Right.
The uptake on accessories, like 145 accessories you can have on this car. And 1 in 3 people goes into the accessory catalogue with a plot.
Really? Well, that's what they're hoping. I think there's even more accessories than that from memory, but
Is there? That's what I was. Yeah,
there's loads.
There are loads, and there's like the snorkel is quite neat. A couple of the cars on this event have the snorkel on it, and it clings to the A pillar, but it's very sort of sculpted to it. And apparently, it was designed, sort of with the car.
Yeah.
It went through all the wind tunnel testing with the car, so it doesn't whistle on it. So you get no Damon Albarn effect.
You don't want whistling teeth at 40 miles an hour. Especially not a brand new car. Yeah, that would be bad. That would be bad.
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether or not I'd love it if Toyota were to pipe up off the back of the Defender and go, I think we can do something with our Land Cruiser that's along those lines, priced aggressively and indestructible.
Yeah.
Because they do that cool 2-door Land Cruiser still, don't they? Which is like a commercial vehicle. I think it's only a commercial.
Yeah, and it's got a sort of very appealing kind of back to basics sort of vibe going on.
Yeah, I'm drawn to it.
Did you try one? Did you have one? Did you borrow one? Or Toyota one?
I borrowed a base model Hilux single cab pickup, which it shares the wheels and a lot of the looks, and it was very pleasantly base model actually. And off the back of that, I'm going to book in a 2-door LC because I think it's very appealing.
What's weird about this Defender, the absolute bog base model has still got stuff on it you wouldn't expect, like cruise control and heated seats. Now, this is the car I'm in is an S, which is one model up, and it's the lowest trim you can have with the 240 engine.
Yeah.
And I don't see anything else you could have on this would feel a bit like you're just adding shit for the sake of it. I mean, I don't know what you could crave on a modern car. It's sort of, it has everything. It feels like they've peaked to early.
Well, or people get new car FOMO in like tech spec FOMO, I think. So when they're ordering a new car, they kind of go, oh shit, well, we don't really ever use seat coolers, but it's on the list and it comes with this pack. And it's only £280, so we're never going to ever press the button. In fact, I probably won't even look for the button on when it's in. But should we just buy it anyway? Or they're buying cars for the next person, which I always find deeply odd. But I reckon, and we've said this before, the Defenders will be at their best when they're spec'd very leanly, and.
Yeah.
The same as a 911, actually, same as a Porsche 911. I still think that the more Spartan cars, the more attractive and more future-proof cars. In some ways.
Oh, 911 is a great case of points. You think you want active engine mounts and all that stuff because you think you might go to the Nürburgring one day, but you probably won't. Save your money, keep it simple, and it's the same with this. You think you might want the full sort of off-road package because you're thinking that you might one day drive a mountain, but you won't. Just save your money. Keep it simple. It's still perfectly good off-road. I mean, it's astonishingly good off-road. The stuff we did, it was like it wasn't making sweat, really. Because of COVID, they weren't allowed to have instructors in the cars with us, so they couldn't really trust us to do anything too difficult.
They couldn't trust you?
Yeah, the car was basically like, well, is that it? Is that all you got? Okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. I'm doing it. Look, I'm doing it. You just stop moving the wheel. I've got this.
Do you feel?
Your feet on the pedals. I'm doing it.
I know this is a podcast, so nobody knows. They can't see anything. But I'm hoping that you've dressed in something country pursuits for this, Rich. I'm going to go with. Have you got a green jumper on?
No, I haven't actually. But while no one was looking during the lunch stop, I peeled all of the back seats of their green tweed and fashioned myself a jacket.
Oh, what, you just Stanley knife the back out of them so that you don't...
Yeah. Then crudely stitched it together with baling twine.
I love that idea. And also, did you take a couple of squares out of the rubber matting and you're going to use them as sort of like... I don't know what... Yeah, exactly. Just and did sort of a very rustic stitch. On the jacket, very chunky rustic stitch. That's brilliant. I've got a vision of you now. I think I know how you look. I'm liking it.
Dressed as a car seat, basically.
Dressed as a car seat.
I know you're driving this car, and when you've driven the Defender as well, we'll have a chat, compare notes on a proper podcast. But I just wanted to ring you and gloat because I'm driving it and you're not. And I really like it. I think it's a good car. It would be a fabulous family wagon if you really, really wanted a lot of space and something that's quite cool, which let's be honest, people do.
One life, live it, Rich. Or is it one life, love it? I don't know, because you've got to live it. Otherwise, you've got just love it. I would rather love it than live it, if you know what I mean. Because I might just bang in an order for one of these on the sly and then have one wife live it. Oh, brilliant! There you go. There's your sticker. I'm just going to get some stickers. I'll FedEx the stickers out to you now.
Would you?
One wife, livid. Brilliant. I've really enjoyed this little chat with you while you're motoring along, probably driving a little bit too energetically on some back lanes. But
I'm still at the M5. It's absolutely slashing it down.
Is it?
But I'm rock solid. Yeah, rock solid. Just taking it easy. It's good. It's all good. Driving quite sensibly now, and
Do you think Bryan Adams is gonna bring out an album with him sat on the front of one of these? Is it of that level? Do you think it's going to reach that level of?
You've got to give it a few years before you get the Adams endorsement, surely.
Well, yeah, but he'd put it on some white Wellers, wouldn't he? And it'd be like, oh, seriously?
Yeah. Get a grip, Adam.
Everything he does it for you.
I know. Even when I don't ask him to. That's what's so annoying. I mean,
just does it?
Taking the recycling out, that's good. But sometimes, he's made a Moussaka. I don't really like Moussaka, so
Everything he does it for you. What, like, comes home 3 a.m, really, really pissed, trips over a glass table and ruins it, and then just lies on his back and just hysterically laughs. And of course, he's only doing that for you.
Yeah. You know what? He's becoming a nuisance. I have to ask him to move out.
So yeah, okay, Rich. I'll see you next time. Enjoy the test driving, and and thank you to everybody who's already subscribed and is a regular listener of Smith and Sniff. If you want to leave a comment, we always like the comments, and rate us. If you give us a good rating, apparently Google likes us, or I don't know, other overlords such as Apple and Spotify. You want to add any more there, Rich?
No, I think you've covered it. All right, mate. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Rich.
Bye.
Bye.